and hope your weekend has begun on a good note. Welcome to this week's episode of the Author Collaborative. As always, I'll be having a guest over who's also an author, and we'll be discussing each other's books and writing journeys. Stay tuned with us. I have a really exciting episode coming up, and today's guest is an author whom I really admire for his work and the way he writes young adult fiction. Hello, Nostalgians. Hello, Biblioman. Thank you for joining. Without much ado, I'm going to invite today's guest and start the episode with us in a few seconds. Stay tuned.
Hi,
Hello,
Manali.
how are you?
I'm
Welcome
good.
again. Welcome back, actually.
Yeah, it is like our own first home show.
Yes,
Feel very
and
comfortable.
before we, start chattering with each other, I just want you to
Mhm.
introduce yourself to the audience here so they know whom I am talking
Yeah.
to.
Okay. Yep. Hi, all. Um, this is the second time I'm collaborating with Manali, and the first time was more than a year ago. In fact, it was in 2021,
Yes.
and she had read my first novel, my debut novel, The Panipuri Crimes, and she gave very important, very nice feedback to me around that time. And then we did a author collaborating 2021 September, I think almost last week of September, something around that time.
Yes.
And since then, I have read a lot of her work, and I am also a fan of her writing because the genre, or you look at her portfolio kind of a thing, like one is a rom com, another is a collection of short stories, poetry also now.
Hmm.
So that way, I really see a lot of range over there.
Hmm.
Not only restricted, or she experiments a lot with that. So that is one nice thing. And since our last collaboration, after Panipuri Crimes, I released four more novels.
Yes.
One was Finding a Measure of Fire. Second was uh, Premanada Pandita, which Minali has read it, and she has again given not just inputs, but the way, like when she gives approval that okay, it looks good, particularly because from a young girl perspective, which is the main protagonist of the novel, it's a kind of an indication. And like we all need indication that okay, yeah, okay, that's really good.
It's a good book.
Uh, yeah. And last year, I released two more novels. One was the Indian Scientist Scholar Conference. It is a very intriguing story, a tribal girl story, okay, where the people name the next born after the benefactor. Like
Hmm.
who are, like if I will give them something benefit, the next child will be named as Prabanjan, and they will not care whether it's a boy or a girl.
Hmm.
Same way, even if Manali gives them some benefit, then if the next born is a boy, they will still name her Manali, him Manali only.
Yes.
So all this current trend of using pronouns, okay, it is not really makes sense because you will get too confused. But it may also offer credit, but that's fine. But that is about the tribal girl who has been accidentally named as Indian Scientist Wala Conference after the Indian Science Congress, which starts in the every year. It is conducted on 2nd or 3rd of January. Okay,
Hmm. Okay.
so for that now that this girl wants to really become a scientist and present a paper in that conference.
Hmm.
That is a journey about. And the most recent release was The Half Death. Uh, I will not say whether it's a thriller or what, but of course, when you look at the cover, everything you get the impression it's a thriller. But that is a very nice, different kind of a treatment that I give over there. Please see how it comes out. And now I think you see a very nice cover there in the background, slightly below the butterfly. Okay, slightly below the butterfly, and that is what also will be speaking a lot, which also tells me that maybe I should show our audience that this is one
Yes.
novel which.
Uh, so
Uh,
the one behind me and the one in Akshobhya's hand. These are the books that we are going to discuss in today's episode.
yeah,
And
yeah,
as he was mentioning, I have already reviewed
mm,
it and I have given it a 4 on 5
yeah,
rating. And I absolutely loved
mm,
it. And I have a few questions based on my reading.
mm.
Are you ready to answer those?
Yeah, sure.
I have read two of your books, and the one thing that really strikes me is that you have not only caught the pulse of young India, like young adult
Mhm.
in their late teens and early 20s. You have captured that
Mhm.
very well. But another thing that strikes me is because I myself find it very difficult to write from a perspective of the opposite gender. But in your books,
Mhm.
I have
Mhm.
observed that you write the female perspective, and it's almost apt because as a girl, I am
Mhm.
able to relate to the female
Yes.
protagonist, and I'm like, how is
Mhm.
he able to manage that? So tell us about that.
Okay. Uh, when I wanted to write fiction, the first thing I wanted to do was take the challenging tasks, not walk the trivial thing, because it did not take me anywhere. I
Hmm.
have to tell only not just stories, but experiences. And when we talk about fiction, contrary to the popular assumption that you can write whatever you feel like, no, it is not all like that.
Yeah.
There's always a lot of responsibility, and you need to tread the line very cautiously. And I remember some of our early, one of your sessions which you're doing with some other author, and we were talking about how I think about female writers and writing, or something about erotic writing, something like that,
Mhm.
and how people take it in a very, very wrong way,
Yes.
because they tend to immediately, relate the author or the writer with the kind of writing they are doing, which is
Yes.
heinous thing, very stupid. I mean, like that way, that was one. So speaking about when I began writing, let me tell about this first novel which I wanted, because before I wanted to really write, I was an introvert, and almost all my life there were almost like no girls in our school or college, because our strength was still very less.
Hmm.
Till my BSc got over, or even MSc, there were never more than two-digit students in the classroom, except for only 2 year period. The strength is always like 4, 5, 8, 9, like that.
Oh.
So I'm from a small town, okay, and so forget about even being mingling with anybody, but there is not much to mingle about. That was one
Hmm.
aspect. But
Okay.
even otherwise, I was always an introvert and never
Hmm. Hmm.
interact much with kids. And then in small towns, something like what Haigreva also is in this book, he comes from a small town. That
Hmm.
is typically the way it starts up. Okay.
Hmm.
But when I was trying to write, first novel which I wrote was The Half Death. I had to write multiple revisions and other things, so forget about that. But I was
Hmm.
finding it very difficult. I inserted first a female character for the sake of it. I'll be very
Okay.
clear, I'm very honest.
Interesting.
I
Okay.
just, I didn't even wanted to write a female character in that, but I added it just for the sake of it. Okay.
Okay.
But then the way it turned out, that character became very important. That character name is Suganya. Okay.
Hmm.
And when I wanted to write my second novel, I
Hmm.
wanted to take her name again. So there was a finding a measure of her, okay, in which again she gets a small role. It's like kind of a side support kind of a role.
Hmm.
Then again I wrote one more novel. I repeated the same name, but I was slightly familiar. But they were actually three different persons. His
Hmm.
name was
Okay.
common, and then I realized, okay, I should not be really doing it. I started playing a lot with names. But what had happened was that a practice was like set. That was one of the things. But when I wrote Finding a Measure of Her as a first novel which I really wanted to publish, after it was something which I was not very keen on publishing. Not like about that, but publishing is very difficult, right? So something it went on the back burner. You send it to many publishers, they reject everything,
Yeah.
and then you forget about it. You go move on to your career because you
Hmm.
have
Yeah.
family to support and too many other things. Whether you want to support the family or not, even if you're a bachelor, you can't depend on writing.
True.
Okay, okay. But having said that, now let us come back to the female writing.
Yes.
It was very difficult for me. For example, if I was trying to write Finding a Measure of Her, it took 2 years to write. And there I was actually kind of not exactly doubling up, but when you look at that is a novel which explicitly supports LGBT community.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
And in that novel, if you find like what you have found in Premnada Pandita Panipuri Crimes, there you'll find it even doubly more responsible. Okay,
Yes.
that way it is. And it's very nuanced, like, though it has not too many reviews. but it's a very, very nuanced writing, very, very subtle kind of a form, very different way.
Hmm.
So by that time, almost like it was getting used to write. But when you read Pani Puri Crimes, it was a thriller novel for
Hmm.
all that
Hmm.
it was supposed to be like that. But there was a problem. There was indeed a problem that the way I want to write the character, particularly the main character, which is supposed to be there in every scene but not to be seen, like that
Okay. Hmm.
in the beginning also, right? I mean, that person is in front of you, but you can't see that person.
Right.
And then eventually, when that person almost appears after half the novel is over,
Hmm.
after that it catches up.
Yeah.
Okay, it was very complex character, right? Probably the most complex character. So for that, I wanted to actually get a grip of her love story, and for that
Okay.
I actually ended up writing. So I was not getting the connect. I could not hook it properly the way I wanted
Okay.
to do it. So I
Hmm.
wrote a small. I initially wanted to write a small backstory kind of a thing, but
Hmm.
that ended up as 90,000 words.
Oh my God.
Because I wanted to
So that
understand
is
that
actually
character.
a 90,000 word backstory for
Yes,
the
but,
female character.
but,
For a
but that
minor
was
female character.
for a minor, but that is actually a requirement. But if you
Yeah.
don't understand that character, entire novel will fall flat.
Hmm.
Okay, that was one. And again, like as I told, like we have responsibility. Even in Pani Puri crimes,
Hmm.
I can't show the poor vendor, the poor Pani Puri seller in bad light.
Hmm.
It really kills the entire purpose. Like, how can you show a poor people who just hand to mouth, not even hand to mouth also, right? You can't show them in poor light at all. You have a huge
Hmm.
responsibility. Like that, it
Hmm.
is so same way. Like what we mean by sorry, very weak. Unfortunately, even women are also very weak,
Hmm.
and yeah, it's not like a criticism of them, but that is how it is. So
Hmm.
you have to handle them very carefully when you, even whether it is novel or anywhere.
Hmm.
Even your side remark, something like what you just may say something which you not even realize, it affects a lot. That is what
Hmm.
you will see in another Pandita. Like some people
Hmm.
just very casually remark, like as if it is nothing. But
Yeah.
on that person, it is a huge impact. For so though it might appear at a very very light novel, Premnatha Pandita, but there are certain scenarios, right, where their friends are sitting in the hotel,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
There
then
are.
they remark on her, and though she brushes it off, what we are saying is no, that's not done. That's not done. That's how
Hmm.
when you are trying to do it, some things we have to hold back. Sometimes
Hmm.
we need to allow a character to undergo a bit of abuse, not intently, because that is how it is happening.
Yes.
And then you need to come back. You need to basically come back, but you need to cover it all. You can't leave anything exposed. So that's how taking the responsibility and also to make it very realistic, but also very useful. That's how
Okay.
I ended up
How is
writing
it
all these.
adding to the entire plot of the book,
Yes,
basically?
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Wonderful. And I am so impressed that you have 90,000 page word backstory for a character just to understand their psyche. I mean, that's just amazing.
No, but actually, yeah, it was rewarding actually. Yeah. Sometimes you write a short story, sometimes you write a bigger thing. It was rewarding because now I'm very well versed with that character. I can write a few more novels. It is going to be series, but it is going to be very different. Like it's going to be very nice.
Okay.
If at all I get published, keep on publishing. So Manal, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Sorry, if you don't mind.
Yeah, yeah, of
Okay.
course, of course.
So as we were talking about, like explained earlier, that publishing is difficult. We all know it. On many publishers' website, on the author guidelines, they clearly say, please don't submit a poetry collection.
Yeah. Uh,
Please don't submit a poetry collection. So how did you end up writing M2P to that?
so, see, with M2P2, it started out as on my blog. It was part of a
Mhm.
challenge that I had taken up with a blogging community. And I was just basically right. So, it happened in April 2022. And I was just part of a challenge where we were supposed to write a post every day for 26 days of the month. Hello? Hello.
Sorry, I think I got dropped. 1 minute.
Yes.
Am I back now?
No, I can't see you. Let me just invite you again.
Mm,
No, I can't see you. Why can't I see you? I've sent
can
you
you
an
hear me?
invitation again. See? Can
Can
you
you
see?
hear me?
I can hear you, but you are not visible. If in the comments the viewers can let us know if they can see you because I can't see you at all. Can you do one thing? Can you leave? Then I can add you again.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah. Just stay tuned for a few minutes. We have some connectivity issues with our guest. And we are back.
Okay, yeah.
We are back.
Thank you.
Okay. We have Ritesh here. He has told us that yes, we can see. Thank you, Ritesh, for letting us know.
Thank you.
I was answering the question you asked about poetry. So basically, there was never a goal to publish the poems in M2P2 as a poem together. It started out as a part of the challenge, wherein as part of a blogging community, I was writing one post every day, and I chose to write poetry for that challenge because poetry is something that comes very easily to me. And
Yeah,
if I
okay.
had to maintain consistency and write for 26 days of the entire month, I thought I might as well do poetry rather than anything
Okay.
else.
Okay.
So by the end of that month, I already had 26 poems, and
Mm-hmm.
a few I had written before. They were in my repository, and they were
Mm-hmm.
matching the theme that I had followed in the entire month. So I was like, I will write a few more and maybe convert it into book. There was never
Mm-hmm.
this thought in my mind, how will I
Mm-hmm.
publish it as a paperback, or how will any publisher, be ready to accept it. Having said that,
Mm-hmm.
with each book that I publish, I never, put it together with the intention of
Okay.
enticing any publisher to, be attracted towards publishing it. I first write the book
Mm-hmm.
and then I approach the publisher and see,
Okay.
and then it's up to fate whether they want to take it up or not.
Hmm. Yeah, this is one thing which I really like, about the current way it is changing. People can do whatever way they like to do, and it's not about publisher or it's not about
Yeah.
self-publishing, anything like that. It's just about making it beautiful and
Yes.
as practical, not even practical, as much realistic as possible. It comes
Yeah.
out better even if it's that way. Yeah.
And I think publishers have also started realizing that
Mm,
most readers today they don't have long attention spans and the patience
yeah.
to read longer texts. And with
Correct.
poetry, the one good thing is that they are short and they can be finished at
Mm-hmm.
one. So, yeah, I don't see as much
Mm-hmm.
hesitance in the publishers to take up poetry as it was,
Mm-hmm.
probably 5 to 6 years ago.
Okay. I think Rupi Kaur's this she writes Milk and Honey,
Yeah,
right?
Rupi Kaur,
That
Akshobhya,
really
and all the
that
contemporary
really
poets that you see,
yeah.
they're selling copies in millions, and that's
Yeah.
just the way things have changed.
Correct. Okay. Yeah. Just give me a second.
Brings me to my second question for you.
Okay.
Before I
Mm-hmm.
do that, I just want you to read out a passage from the book that we are focusing on, so people
Okay.
get an idea of what we are
Okay.
talking about.
Okay. Just give me a minute. Okay. So this is the novel that I'm talking about, Premnada Pandita. So what this title is, the protagonist, her name is Nada, okay, and what happens is that she's a very accidentally in the high school. She tries to tell one girl that get over your heartbreak, you deserve somebody better, and you'll get actually better. Then that girl responds that no, it's easy for you to. You're walking me. Get me the most handsome boy in the school. And coincidentally, just by like what we say, right, when things get aligned, it just falls into line. So then people start consulting her. Now people start consulting her that, hey, I'm falling in love with this boy, this girl. Can you help me pair them up and all that? So suddenly she gets a very good success issue. And then basically that's how she becomes kind of a love guru in her own school and even later college also. She becomes a very good counselor and she's considered an expert in pair matching. And when that happens, basically, love guru, you can probably call it as love pandit or prema
Hmm.
pandit. Prem is for love pandit. So I thought instead of calling prema pandit nada, it is better go. It better go off as prem nada pandita. And another way is something like typically if you want to view prema as her first family name, then love is actually what is sheltering her all her life,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
pandita, that is her expertise, is like serving as a parent for her. That way also you can view it,
Yeah.
Premnada Pandita. And it also flows very nicely. It rolls very nicely on the tongue also. And I don't even have to think of making Prema or Pandita as either, any other. It felt way better with Premnada Pandita than any other name that I could have got for her. And it also helps coincidentally that she is a bastard, or she's not having parents. She's supposed to be illegitimate. So now she's having way better name than anything else. It looks,
Hmm.
it just falls into place. So
Hmm.
we gave a small hint about what is the kind of background she had. Uh, she's also typically, what we see fair and lovely and all that. She's opposite
Hmm.
of that. She is
She's
slightly
the.
down, whatever you want to call it, not the typical fair. So this is about one song in Kannada, which is not even too popular. It's not very too popular also. And the reason why she very naturally loves that song is because that heroine is a Punjabi. Though she's a Punjabi, she's not too fair. She's again like that is even the theme of that movie. The hero is like not very handsome, and the heroine is also not very
Hmm.
uh, so-called typical gorgeous, white, and all that. None of that. Like,
Hmm.
and they just love this song, and she has a very good bestie in this novel, Achintya. What they do together is they prepare vlogs, video logs, and they dissect a song as much as possible,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they do dissect this song, which is Halu Ginneya Balasakige Halina Vishika. And the lyrics was by Shyam Sundar Kulkarni.
Hmm.
In Kannada, is one of the very good lyricists, something like not writing a typical rhyming kind of a song, but it is actually a very good song in terms of
Hmm.
its meaning, its content. It makes a hell lot of sense, and
Hmm.
all that background just fits in properly. But there
Hmm.
was one criticism which one of another author friend like you gave us, like, why did you write 6 pages about that? And
Okay.
I might say that, okay, maybe I might agree with him, but that is fine. I felt that, okay, that's fine. Because I wanted to just flow very naturally with that. And they end up reading the entire song, they analyze it. So I would
Hmm.
like to read one paragraph about that,
Okay.
which will show the kind of nature of that.
Hmm.
I am a fan of Ravindarman in this song. Nada needlessly chipped in. Great, Nada. Let's get into the song and we play the initial lines that are not Mukada for the benefit of our viewers.
Hmm.
Achintya played the song's first 4 lines on YouTube and then kick-started the dissection of the song. Mesmerizing, isn't it? The president is now set, and every line adds the extra line or shade and pays glowing tributes to womanhood. The Abhishekam, typically like what we know, the Abhishekam that's conferred on the idols of the reverend god is poured on the lover. The first line, Halu Genneye Balasakige Halina Abhisheka. So, milk offering, that is what
Hmm.
is
Okay.
betrothed from the stove. And
Hmm.
as it descends on the steep hill of love between the husband and wife, it accumulates more and more of lovely emotions. The ordination of a woman with milky cheeks must be done with milk. The second line, Jaina Tutiya Jiva Jodige Jainina Abhisheka, calls to moisten the pair of sweet lips with pure honey. Splendid, isn't it? The third and fourth lines of the introduction goes as Usira Usirali Bereta Bedigige Masurina Abhisheka, Padmamukhiya Neerajakshige Pannira Abhisheka. So basically, as the third and fourth constituent of Abhishekam is supposed to be curd and tamarind milk. Uh,
Hmm.
you not sorry, not tamarind. Uh, Haldi, what do you call
Turmeric,
haldi?
turmeric
Turmeric,
milk.
turmeric milk, not tamarind milk. My apologies. So a bit of. So basically, you can see that here. The first four lines of the song, of course, it's sung by my most favorite S.P. Balasubramaniam, without whom I can't write anything. It's impossible for me to do anything. But this entire song has been analyzed in this. It's on page number 130 and 131. It begins on page number 130. It goes up to all the every single line. I wanted to dissect that song primarily for another reason that it is something like if I had to give it equivalence, it is something like "Ek ladki ko dekha to aisa laga," that kind of
Hmm.
song.
Hmm. Okay.
Every line is very beautiful. Maybe you can see it on the video. Yeah. Right.
Okay.
So Monali, now it is now your turn. I have already seen there are two things which I really loved, which I also mentioned in your review. One is that when you after the title of a poem, the box that comes up, search, and I'm sure that many of the readers they would have paid attention to it, but you're
Hmm.
also trying to capture a very good mood about the. You're setting the tone, like what to expect in this particular song. So, what is just in the mind and feeling thoughtful, feeling so many things that you have put there. That was very nice. It was really very elegant. And another thing which I am sure many of them would have realized it at the end of the song, she mentions that there is a YouTube link or Instagram link, some video
Hmm.
link, I guess.
Hmm.
And for some of the poems, which she has rendered with a very nicely done videos, okay. Though I have mentioned that Achintya and Nada do a video, I can't do that. But Nali has really done very nice videos. Some of her videos are
Thank
really
you. Thank you so
very
much.
elegant. And those poems, it is natural that we should expect her to sing one poem from the collection.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so since you have said that you like the video renditions of some of the
Mhm.
poems, I'm going to
Yeah.
read out one of them, which I converted into a video. I mean, a
Mhm.
reel on Instagram. Just a
Mhm.
minute. I uh, the one that has got most love out of the
Mhm.
renditions is "Some Are Like That." Is that your favorite
Mm.
too?
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm going to read that out. Hmm, where is it?
कुछ लोग ऐसे ही होते हैं.
Yes. So this poem is titled "Some Are Like That," and I'm reading it out from my book titled "Mindful Musings and Peaceful Ponderings." It goes: Some are like that; they give without taking. Some are like that; they smile without knowing you to. Some are like that; they ask out of concern without any malice. Some are like that. They put others first without thinking about themselves. Some are like that. They feel happy about others' happiness and success without any envy. Some are like that. They help those in need without anybody asking them to. Some are like that. They want to make the world a better place without thinking, what's my benefit in that? Some are like that. They choose kindness first every time without even knowing its definition. So that was one of the poems, and if you liked it, I have already converted it into a reel
Yeah.
on my Instagram, so
Mhm.
you can enjoy it
I,
again.
I,
And
I
of
have
course,
watched that. I have watched that video. It is very beautiful. One of the video on top of this thing, and I don't know for whatever reason. Somehow, when you're reading somewhere like that, I was trying to imagine Gulzar rendering those lines in Hindi.
oh my God, that's the biggest compliment you could have given me. Thank you so much. That means
Because
a lot.
every single line when we are singing in English, somehow when I immediately started translating right, I was imagining that Gulzar singing in Hindi.
Oh, wow,
It
I
was
would
really
die
good.
if someday he were to read out this poem. I would be like, wow.
Yeah,
I can already, imagine him doing the Hindi translation also,
correct.
like
Yeah.
कुछ लोग ऐसे भी होते हैं.
हाँ कुछ खुद के बारे में जैसे कि हमेशा दूसरे के बारे में ख्याल
हाँ.
करेंगे. Something like that. And of course,
Yeah.
in Gulzar, he is. One thing that, especially people like you and me, when we are at the young stage of our career, we should keep this in mind. Never think of translation as inferior.
Yeah.
Because Gulzar has translated Bengali Rabindranath Tagore's songs into Hindi and maybe English also, something like that. I'm not really sure. But there is one collection, two book collection, a Bengali Tagore's collection into Hindi or English. I really don't know what is, pardon me. But if somebody as iconic and what is there for left him to achieve
Hmm.
at the age of 70 plus, he takes the trouble to translate Tagore's into Hindi or English, whatever it was. Like, we have nobody, right?
Yeah.
We should really do that. Never in think. Okay, let's go on to the next question. Yep.
Yes. My next and last question for you is that we have talked about the female leads in your books.
Mhm.
The one other thing that I really,
Mhm.
it's a little irksome for me also, because as a female leader, I'm like, लड़के थोड़े अच्छे होने चाहिए ना, they should respect women. But one thing I have noticed in the male characters in your stories is that they
Mhm.
are a little misogynist, and they don't treat women as well as they deserve to be treated. So is this
Mhm.
a purposefully done thing, and if yes, why, and how you do it?
Nothing is done with intention of doing it, but there is, as you look at entire plot, like if you're talking about one of the good male characters that I wrote was Sagar Khandelwal, who has a very nice the way he does it. But unfortunately, something I could not take him to the end of it. Otherwise, you would have maybe found one proper male to root in the entire novel. But that does not happen. For you need to figure out the Panipuri crimes. But let us speak about Prem Nada Pandita, Haigriva, the character.
Hmm.
He comes from a very small village, okay, where typically, if you speak with any other girl, you'll be beaten up before you reach your home. This is what happens in small town, by the way. Okay, you speak with any girl, you go back home. Before that, somebody will come and beat you up. That
Hmm.
is
True.
the kind of
True.
environment that he is in. So when he comes to the college, okay, he's totally stunned. He's totally taken aback. You know, he's like, oh God, everybody is like so bold and everybody is like too much for him. You know? Like he can't even mingle. Forget about the girls. Even with the boys also, he can't mingle well at all.
Hmm.
Okay,
Hmm.
and then suddenly there is another reason why Nada falls in love for him, though she was like senior. That was basically because of a different reason. Uh, in one of the things which happened to her is when she loses her boyfriend when both of them were like 17 or 18, something like that.
Hmm.
Like, both of them were 18 around that time. She loses
Hmm.
her first boyfriend, like who was almost a childhood love for her. She loses him, and then suddenly something happens, and she finds something that missing in this Hagriva character.
Hmm.
Okay, that was one reason, and another reason I had explained in one of other scenarios was that why I could not change Hagriva to be a proper man who supports Nada to the end. Like he
Hmm.
had absolutely no business to betray her because
Yeah.
in his limited way. And what is one of the reasons why he betrays her is because he can just get away with it.
Yeah.
For the only reason that he can get away with it and not get caught, he does that,
Yeah.
which is very pathetic. But that was for another reason because when we had the entire, typically when we have the benefit of doing setting it up in a certain way,
Hmm.
the problem was that neither of the people who support eventually Nada at the end, I'm not talking about
Hmm.
Achita, but some other people who are supposed to support her at the end, they are none of them are supporting her because she deserves to be supported. But each of them has their own guilt
Yeah.
consciousness. And that is
Yes.
what drives them to support her. But if you look at it, the way it is being projected, the blame will fall only on Nada. That,
Hmm.
oh God, how the hell is she doing this thing? This is not supposed to happen at all. Is this a society or what? That is the
Hmm.
way you are being, like, the way it ends, as what you had also correctly pointed out in your review, that some people might not be happy with it. In fact, a lot
Hmm.
of viewers, lot of readers were not happy with the way it ends. Some of them felt that she should have taken the decision. The problem is not that. She was never in a position to take a decision.
Hmm.
She was never in a position to take a decision, and that blame should fall on her. In that way, it has been set up, the entire thing. So that was one
Hmm.
of the reasons why Haigreva had to do something like that. And one of the other reasons which I try to understand the mindset of Haigreva, or even that other girl, the third woman, Sumedha, like you always wonder, right? And like when you look at the society, you see why married people are having affairs, or you already know they're committed, but you're still behind them. Something like you see all of that thing either in rumors, gossips, whatever you want to call it,
Hmm.
and not all of them are false. Okay, I was trying to capture that in the mind of Haigreva. So that
Hmm.
was the reason why he's really misogynist. And another thing, if you look at it, in his own family, his father is disgusted with him. His
Yeah.
father is like, what kind of a son have I produced? His mother was totally shocked. It was too late for her, by the way. Her
Hmm.
mother was too late. But his sister, she was like, my God, is he my brother? Like, who the hell is he? Like,
Hmm.
that way, right? So, in a way, though Haigreva is wrong, but the entire thing that falls in place. That is
Right.
how it was meant to be. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. That
Let
brings
me
me to the
ask
end of my long form questions I had for you.
let me ask you that question. Give me a second. What is happening here?
Let me see if we have any comments from the viewers.
Okay.
Nilashri is saying hi. Hi, Nilashri. Thank you for joining. Then we have, I think somebody else also had put in some comments.
Okay, we
Hmm.
can take them. Apologies, I lost my question. Second question for you.
Book lover, undying love. Thank you. He's saying hi. Thank you. And I think we had somebody who said hi to you. Nice to see you. I don't see their comment now. I think it was somebody named Saurav. They were saying hi to you.
Okay, so let me ask you the second question.
Hmm.
Uh, we know that William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet
Hmm.
is a pirated version.
Hmm.
The original version, it was based on sonnet, anonymous writer. The unforgettable tragedy of Romeus and Juliet. There it is
Hmm.
not Romeo, it is Romeus. Okay,
Hmm.
and it is actually a ballad song from the beginning till the end.
Hmm.
It is actually sung as a song. Okay, and which Shakespeare adapted it to theatre.
Yeah.
Okay, so one question, because in your love triangle you had rom-com story and other collections of stories. Would you like to write one poem which begins and ends a full story? Like it runs in pages and pages and pages, but one single poem. Will you write it?
One single poem that goes on for pages. Oh, I would definitely love to do that. Yes. And
Mhm.
yeah, it needs a little patience and, of course, an understanding of that form of writing. But I would love to explore it. Uh, but yeah, let's see. Never say never. I will do maybe sometime in the future. And
Mhm.
regarding Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet being taken
Mhm.
from some other source, I somebody once told me that plagiarism is the highest
Mhm.
form of flattery that somebody can give you, and it has
Yeah.
stuck with me. It has stuck with me. And if somebody out there, reads one of my poems and is inspired to turn it into a full form story or something like what Shakespeare did with Romeo and Juliet, I would be
Mhm.
very happy to be the source
Mhm.
of inspiration. Even if they
Mhm.
are not naming me, it's okay because कितना ही कमा
Mhm.
लेगा. It depends on who's taking the source, and more than anything, I think I would be honored if that happens. And besides that, I choose to stick with poetry rather than long
Mhm.
form of writing simply
Mhm.
because it comes very naturally to me. And longer
Mhm.
forms of poetry, also, I do write long forms of poetry. And in M2P2, if you have. have noticed, I have a combination. I have short poems also, and I have poems which go on for pages also. It's not just that I have written, short poems. So maybe I can, consider writing poems which go on for 50,
Mhm.
60, 70, 100 pages. Let's see.
Let me tell you. Let me give a hint or a help. Entire Ramayana is summarized in a Telugu poem, and the length of the Telugu poem is only 3 words.
3 words. Wow. Wonderful.
I used to tell them many times. I've forgotten those 3 words. Katta, kacha, something like that. So basically, it means kidnapped, war, killed, something like that. Only 3 words capture entire Ramayana in Telugu. It is in 19th
Wow.
century. Okay, so you don't have to worry that your poem has to uh, be very lengthy. It can be anything.
Yeah. And
Okay.
another thing that I want to tell you is that most of my poetry, if you see, it is actually stories. I'm not, talking about nature and
Experience.
everything
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
this and that. I
yeah.
do have characters in my poems. So, somebody is realizing something, or two people, they are in a relationship or they are in a marriage and they come to know a few things about each other. And it's a story form. There is also mother daughter. There's father and son.
Yeah.
So a lot of things. And I have written I have read very few poems where actual characters are
Mhm.
there, and I have tried to
Mhm.
imbibe that in my poems. And it's a lot of people who have read the book. They have in fact told me that it's more like reading stories than poems, and it was really a unique experience.
Yeah. It was very nice. Yeah.
So
Yeah. So let us
thank you so much.
ask some other questions. So,
Yes.
which genre will be the next for you as a writer and as well as a reader?
Oh, as a reader, I'm always going to choose prose over poetry. And if, as a writer, we are talking about my current work in progress, it's a novel. I am working on my second novel. So, but if
Mhm.
I were given a choice and somebody told me that write only one genre, then it would always be poems. I would always write poetry.
Mhm.
I'm only doing novels because some people are expecting novels
Mhm.
out of me. And
Yes, yes.
my first novel was really loved, and it is still being loved and accepted widely. So I want to
Mhm.
do justice to my readers also. They expect
Yeah,
something new to come out of me. Just poems, it would not satisfy every reader out there.
correct. Good, good.
Okay, that brings me to the most exciting part of the episode, which is the rapid fire round. What we
Mhm.
will be doing is that we'll do one question you ask, one question I will ask. You have already asked your first question, which is
Yeah,
what would I choose as a reader and writer? It's my
yeah.
turn. And my question to you is the same. If you had to
Mhm.
choose one genre out of crime thrillers and romance, what would you choose and why?
For now, it will be next to be a romance because the previous one was a thriller. So I would like to have like start
Okay,
between
so
thriller,
ये हो
romance,
गया
thriller.
अभी.
So the Haunted was a thriller. So maybe next will be a romance. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excited for your new novel. Thank you so much, Kanchan.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. So your turn for the next rapid fire.
Hmm. So 1 minute.
Okay. Till you find the question, let
Can
me
you,
just ask mine.
yeah, can you
And
ask? Yeah.
yes. My question to you is, and so writing is not a bed full of roses. It's a challenging job and profession. So tell me one aspect of writing that you dislike and why.
Of writing actually
I mean,
sales.
being an author, for being being an
No,
author, I
actually
mean.
marketing it. I mean, like actually, because these days authors are supposed to be everything, not only just writing, but
Yeah.
even getting it published and then marketing it and selling it and all that. I find that very not. I somehow find it very difficult to
Yeah, yeah.
ask
It is
anyone for that matter.
challenging.
"Hey, will you read my book?" It's very difficult for me to sell a book uh, because, and I feel that somehow we can rather use the same time in writing something more.
I know.
Yeah.
So apply the same effort in the writing the next book. I
Yeah.
totally
So
agree.
what is your calcium in writing when it comes to calcium? Your calcium.
Uh, yeah, apart from the promoting part that you mentioned, I do
Mm-hmm.
enjoy promoting my books because I like interacting in the manner that we are doing right now with fellow authors. It's a learning experience. But besides that, I think the challenging part and the part that I dislike the most
Mm-hmm.
is, going back to the same text again and again. Because after a point, your mind goes numb. So I wish there was a way where you could finish it off at one go.
Oh, I get that. I get that. Yeah, because it is sometimes very difficult to finish a novel in a single setting, and you would have to commit back, and then you have almost forgotten like what scenario was what and all that. Yeah, correct.
Exactly. Keep
Yeah.
keeping back and going back to it again and again. It kind of tests your patience. So
Yeah.
that's also one part that I dislike about being an author.
Okay.
Okay, my next question to you is: if you were given only one day to finish all the tasks, all of your pending tasks, what task would you pick first?
It will be to complete my research papers.
Okay.
Research papers, because that is way more important. It takes top priority over everything else.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah. So, which is the one Goliath you would like to slay yourself?
Okay, one task. If I was like told that you only have one day, I will definitely, out of all the people in my close circle, I will pick one person first and hand over all my
Mm-hmm.
manuscripts to them. Give them the task of, either finish writing them through
Mm-hmm.
an author that you trust, and get them published promiscuously after I'm gone or whatever. and and yeah, I think that's going to be my priority. Before I go, this has to be done.
Okay, so you're following the spirit of that one famous author. I don't know whether it was Truman Capote or Hemingway. Who was it exactly? Not even George Orwell, but he said that if he's told that he's have only one day to live, he will start typing fast.
Exactly, yeah. Or hand it over to someone who can finish it. Yeah.
So, sorry,
Okay.
can you ask the next question because I have lost my. If I go back
No
to
problem.
this
Yeah,
thing, yeah,
I will ask you the next question. Anyway, we are asking the same questions to each other, so it doesn't matter.
okay.
My next question is a myth about books and writing you wish people would stop spreading around.
Pardon?
A myth about books and writing
Mhm.
that you wish
Mhm.
people would stop spreading around.
Um,
Shilpa has
so,
appreciated my answer. Thank you so much, Shilpa. I'm glad you liked my answer.
yep, yep. One myth is that we are supposed to read all the books that is there on our shelf. Uh, that is a very difficult thing for me to do it for various reasons. One is that not only just about I'm talking about fiction, but even if you look at my
Yeah,
statistics
yeah.
collection, I have
A lot of
400
people believe
books.
that because they are
Yeah,
authors and writers, we have read
yeah.
every book under the
Oh,
sun.
no, 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 that is not
Yeah.
supposed to be because, and quite a few of them are really, very difficult. For instance, we have many type of books, right? That we have. Like, what is my go-to read authors? They're
Hmm.
always Agatha Christie and R.K. Narayan. I can, whenever I am in a writer's block or reader's block, I will always pick up their novels and just go through it like that. Now I'm finding
Okay.
a few other authors like Salman Rushdie or Gabriel Garcia Marquez or even Donata. Okay, I can't finish them in one reading or even 100 readings also. If you
Hmm.
really, or take James Joyce.
James
Nobody
Joyce.
can read his novel at all. In fact, his one novel, which was that Finnegan's Wake, it
Hmm.
is I don't know how many words, but it is I think the only novel which has 30,000 unique words, and nobody can read it without having a dictionary side by side, and nobody knows what is the actual ending till date, it is debated seriously. It is a very tough one. It is tougher than
Okay.
mathematics. Finnegan's Wake.
Okay.
Similarly, you talk about Louis Borges, very
Hmm.
tough to read. Salman Rushdie, again, people don't understand. That guy, he's a really marvelous writing.
Oh yeah.
Unbelievable realism.
Unbelievable. Yeah. He is
Unbelievable.
unbelievable.
If I have written one, not about like Salman Rushdie, but after reading Marquez and others, I have only one short story. Okay, one short story, which I intently wanted to check whether I can write something on those lines, and it came out quite decently well. Not too well, but it is come out very decently well. So that is what I
Okay.
feel. That is what I feel. One myth that don't expect us to read everything that we have. How about
Okay.
you? What is the one myth which you would
Okay.
like to?
One myth that I really wish people would stop spreading around, and it is a popular belief across
Mhm,
across the universe. I have seen it everywhere, and
mhm.
it is that all authors are rich. Like they have written a book, and now they are rolling in money. Which is not true. We are
Okay.
very close to being paupers. We earn very less. I mean, there's other things that go around with publishing a book which bring us money, but books necessarily don't give us that much money.
But okay, so, so now that you are telling this now, at one point I was really, I really hated a person. Like not exactly hated. Don't take it literally, but I felt very despised because he asked me how many customers you have got, and I was like, dude, I have written a statistical text. It was a statistical book, by the way. A author has readers. He never has customers.
How many customers? Wow.
No, author never has a customer. He has readers. And another thing which really I feel get angry is that whenever some authors they get very pissed off when they find their books on pirated website.
Hmm.
They are like piracy should end, this thing should end. But you are very proud to see your book in the library. What is
Hmm.
library but a glorified or an official pirated website place? A library is nothing but a place for those who can't really afford to buy the book.
Hmm.
You can't have it both the ways. You can't expect your book to be in the library and not to be there on the pirated website.
Hmm.
And an
True.
author has got nothing to do with whether the reader is buying it legally or he is pirated or somebody is second-hand copy. Nothing. An author has a direct connection with the reader. Nothing to do with the medium in which he is accessed it. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I'm ranting here.
No, no, this is very true, actually. In fact, that a lot of authors believe that piracy is bad. My belief is that as long as, the book is reaching as many readers as possible, the source doesn't matter. That's my
Exactly.
thinking.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
One of the
That brings me
very
to the
crazy
last
things.
question,
Yeah,
which
sure.
is then activity without which your day is incomplete.
I think some people may already expected. Without listening to SPB song, nothing happens.
Without?
Listening to SPB song, nothing happens in my life.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Shilpa
How about you?
is saying that, wow, that's a new way to look at a library. I think she's responding to your statement that it's a glorified pirated place.
No, but libraries are actually meant to be for those who can't really afford to buy it. It is really
Yeah.
meant for them. In that way, it should be almost free for all the public. At least that is why in almost all the libraries they
Hmm.
allow you to read the book there itself. You don't even have to be a member of that library.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. That's the
Wow,
reason.
that,
Yeah.
okay. My
So
answer to the question
yeah.
about the activity. I think I really, since the past couple of years, that my day feels incomplete if I've not read a single page. So reading has become a part of an everyday thing for me now, since
Mhm.
2020. I mean, more specifically since the lockdown, since
Yeah.
Corona came into our lives. So yeah, reading is something without which I feel my days in it. I mean, there have been days where I have not been able to read a single page, but I sort of feel incomplete. Like आज दिन अधूरा रह गया ऐसा कुछ.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, I
Good.
think that's about it. If we have any questions from the viewers,
Yeah. Are there any
I will
questions?
see. I don't think we have questions. I think we had a lot of responses to our answers, which was really good to see that
Yeah.
people enjoyed our responses.
Yeah.
Those of you who are with us right now, if you have any questions for me or Prabhanjan, what should I call you? Should I call you Prabhanjan or Akshobhya?
Yeah. 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 Mm.
So if the viewers have
Any
any
questions?
questions for us, please feel free to ask. We'll be there for a few more seconds before we wrap up today's episode. Till the time we wait for any questions, I have one question for you. Tell us
Mhm.
something about your next project.
Next project, though I want it to be a romance, but in fact, it is actually almost completed. It is on the publisher's desk, and we are adding something. And it is already mentioned in the half death. What is the next title? The next title is Death Beckons. Why Are You Still Living?
Oh, wow. Sounds really interesting. So, what genre is it? What?
It is a thriller, and like basically, it is about not exactly. It's a collection of stories where death can be for any reason. Like you sip a cup of tea and you will die. You are taking a lift, you die. Like so many crazy reasons, which look very simple things. Somebody
Hmm.
like you have been told that this is a harmless surgery, no effect, no side effect. You undergo that, you die like that. And
Okay.
we have also tried to give as much as possible the biological explanations behind them, like why it happens in those cases. I mean, like you would have come across when it rains completely. Some people, when they get stuck in traffic jam, they turn on the AC
Hmm.
and they sleep, and then they never wake up. What happens is
Oh,
that your silencer gets totally immersed in water,
yeah.
and carbon monoxide gets circulated in the car, and
Hmm.
you die
No way.
so painlessly in the sleep itself, no pain, nothing. You just die. So like that, we are trying to capture certain moments, but we also call it that is this dark death nirvana, which means that though the death is very dark, it gives you some kind of nirvana. So that is how it starts with. So that might be my next.
Sounds really interesting. And Shilpa is also commenting wow. So I think you already have our
Hmm.
interest for the next project. We
Yeah.
don't have any questions from the viewers, so we'll just wrap up.
When
Any
is your
parting
next
remarks?
releasing? Sorry.
Sorry.
You're almost through with your next rom-com, right?
Yes, I
When are
am, and
uh,
not almost two. It's still a work in progress, but I
mhm,
do have a date in mind for somewhere in March. Let's
mhm,
hope it comes out by then. And it's actually a
mhm.
spin-off from my debut novel, Love Triangle,
Late
which
November.
you have read.
Okay.
So I am
Yeah.
taking
Yeah.
the
Mhm,
two characters out of that book and
mhm.
uh, giving them a story of their own.
So is
If
it
you
like Love
remember,
Triangle?
you
Okay.
will see,
Quite
but
a lot.
yeah, uh, you will see. But I can give you a hint that it's going to be another tongue twister.
Oh, super. Good, good, good. I can't wait.
I
Anyway,
am.
here is one thing. I'm committing to you that once you release it, I will host you and only I will ask questions. It will be one side.
Oh, wow, that would be fun. So let's
Yeah.
block a date now only.
Yeah.
Like when
Yeah.
once the book is out, within a
Yeah.
week of the release, we'll do it.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Any
Thank
parting remarks
you.
from you, Akshobhya?
Uh, yeah, I would say that please read a lot, and not just about fiction. Even in your profession, also like whatever you have. I still read a lot of elementary books in statistics or probability. Never stop reading because you might feel you have done whatever you have done, but it is always good to revise. Never stop reading. Yeah.
Great parting words. Thank you so much. And
Thank
Shilpa is
you.
saying a spin-off. She has a question for me. I think a spin-off. Yes,
Mhm.
Shilpa, the book that I'm currently working on, and am planning to release by March. It's a spin off from my debut novel. Thank you for asking. And on that note, we are going to end today's episode. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank
And I
you.
hope we
Bye.
can do this again soon. Bye, everyone. Have a great weekend. Bye.